501c3 organization that provides scholarships to students obtaining their bachelor's degree. We give scholarships to students of color going to HBCU, a predominantly white institution, and students on the path to citizenship as they try to get their bachelor's degree, attending a four-year university. So what makes the foundation unique is that while we seek to provide scholarships to students, it also educates students on money management, wealth accumulation techniques, and mentor students during their college journey. To me, college is important because it not only allows you to have options in your career, but it allows you to meet and build relationships with people you wouldn't meet outside of your neighborhood or city schools. Today, we will award 3 students in the amounts of $500 as they begin their college career in fall 2022.
Today, our keynote speaker is Council Member Victoria Watlington. Victoria serves as the City of Charlotte Council Member District 3 Representative and is a licensed professional engineer and certified project management professional. She has held several roles in engineering initiative and operations management in the consumer product goods industry. She is a 2017 Charlotte Chamber YP Award winner, Pride's Magazine 2018 Outstanding Millennial, and Elevate Lifestyle 30 Under 30 honoree. Ms. Watlington was recognized as the 2019 UNC Charlotte Alumni Association Outstanding Young Alumna, one of Mecklenburg Times 2019 50 Most Influential Women, and the Charlotte Business Journal's 40 Under 40. Victoria is passionate about service and advocating for the West Charlotte area, having spent the last decade serving the community via various professional and service organizations, and the Land Use Committee Chair of the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition. She has led pilot efforts with the City of Charlotte to develop a holistic plan for the corridor ahead of the 2020 budget and is currently initiating planning efforts with Mecklenburg County. She is a proud member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and attends Elevation Church. Victoria holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Florida and a master's degree in engineering management from UNC Charlotte. Please, everyone, help me welcome our keynote speaker, Council Member Victoria Watlington. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me without listening first? Can you hear me? Well, I'm Victoria, and it's a pleasure to be here today. First of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I just want to acknowledge the work that you all are doing here, the counselors, the principals, Sheena. Education, as we all know, is incredible, right? We understand that we deal with not only a society that's been built on racism, but it's built on classism. And we understand that the crux of racism is really economic, right? Because for me, you can feel however you want to feel about it, but don't mess with money, right? And so when we talk about how do we continue to close the gap and close the economic mobility gap in our society, we got to be talking about how we use drivers that increase our opportunities to grow through. So we know that one of them are clearly education, probably the most important, that and mentoring, particularly for our Black males. And so I'd like to share just a little bit about my journey today. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to open it up for any questions from our soon-to-be college freshmen. So as was mentioned, I went to the University of Florida. I'm an Army grad. So both my parents are U.S. Army retired, and I graduated high school in Fort Leavenworth, Missouri. Originally from North Carolina, so as you can imagine, no shade to Missouri at all. St. Louis is a wonderful place, no shade at all. But it was a place that I said, okay, well, it's different, right? And so I knew that I wanted to graduate and go out of state for school. Well, at the time, and one of the first things that I'll say, that I'll share with you today as part of my journey is that we understand that we make plans and God has his will, right? But it always works out for you. So for me, I don't know why, but I was always a fan of Duke. My daddy is a diehard North Carolina UNC fan, and every year I would get the handshake. But I knew that I loved Duke athletics and I loved what they were about in terms of academics. And so from 6th grade on, I always was planning to go to Duke. When I went and scheduled all of my classes, it was with that in mind. So senior year comes, and I applied, and I get back my packet, and I'm excited, I'm ready to go. I'm like, Daddy, Mama, look, I got in. They're like, you got in, you don't know how you're gonna pay for it. So that was rude awakening number one, right? But we went down and visited, and I went ahead and filled out all my paperwork, was getting ready to go. In April of my senior year, I got a letter from a school I never heard. It was the University of Florida. And they said, we offer scholarships, full scholarships, to minority achievement scholars through the National Merit Association. And at that point, I had a decision to make. And as much as it broke my heart, it was very clear that if you want to start out in this world in a way that's going to put you ahead, above and beyond, we know the conversations that are happening nationally as it relates to student debt, you better go where the money is. And I'm so happy looking back that I did. It took me a year or so to get acclimated so decided it was the right thing for me, but it absolutely was. It gave me an opportunity to come out of school without a burden on my back in terms of finances. But while I was at the University of Florida, senior year, I had in mind that I wanted to be an English teacher and history teacher, right? And then I took a physics class my senior year, and our teacher was a West Point engineer, and he introduced to us this whole other side of things, right? And so I sat down as I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I realized, I'm really good at math, I'm okay at science, I'm really good at a lot of other things, but when it came to what I could contribute to the world and what I felt like I was going to be compensated for, it was clear that engineering was on the rise, right? When you talk about engineering, when you talk about STEM fields, nursing, all of these areas where the industry is growing. Even here in Charlotte, we are recruiting heavily logistics and advanced manufacturing professionals, finance professionals, FinTech specifically. There are so many opportunities when you are coming out of school with majors that are highly sought after. And so I decided that I wanted to switch from this idea of teaching to engineering. So I chose mechanical and aerospace engineering because there was a dual degree program. So I go to freshman year, I'm doing well, I'm getting my A's, I might get one B here and there, and then I hit my major courses. And in high school, I'm sure many of you all know that it's a different animal in college, right? You go from kind of teacher-led learning to student-led learning. And so it was something where I could do my homework while the teacher was doing the lesson in high school to be fine. Not so in college. Okay? Particularly in Chemistry 101. I remember it like it was yesterday. There was about 400 people in our class. And our professor told us at the very beginning, if you've never had a chemistry course, you probably need to be on this class. I'm like, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. About 3 weeks in, I realized so he was serious. And I had to go back and drop and move into intro to chemistry so that I could catch up. But my physics class was another what they call a weed out course. Yes, exactly. And so you're thinking, all right, it'll be easy coming here, study a little bit, get an A, get a B. No. I found out very quickly that C's get degrees. I'm with you. And was grateful to get out. However, I will say, looking back, and I would encourage you all, make sure that you leverage the networks that are available at school. Beyond your professors, beyond your TAs, don't sleep on the engineer. If I know that we've got a mechanical engineer in the audience coming up, raise your hand if you're a mechanical engineer. Cool. Okay. And I'd like to know what else. What is everybody's major? Do we know?
International business.
International business. Awesome. So don't sleep on the business fraternity either, because they have students that know what the previous tests have been. They got to test the answers. They do study groups, get involved in extracurricular activities, because those are the people who are going to be able to walk alongside you and be able to call on when it's time to study. Don't do it in a vacuum. That was something that took me far too long to learn. The other thing that I would encourage you is to begin as much as you can with the end in mind. Absolutely, you want to enjoy your college experience, as a part of enjoying that experience, you got to get involved with extracurricular activities, get involved with other organizations, because it gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit more practically about what your major could actually look like. There are so many internship opportunities and so many, I'll say, special programs, if you will, whether it's in the summer or as a co-op that you can get involved in and really see, I thought I liked this. I actually don't like this way, or I really like this particular specific area or industry that I want to get involved in. For me, coming out of my freshman year, I really hadn't thought much about what to do after college. I knew that I had 4 years, and the money was gonna run out, I had to get out, right? And so I went home for the summer, worked at a summer camp, and it was fun, but the next year, going into the fall, we had a career showcase. And so companies were coming from all over the country to recruit students. Well, I went, I sauntered around, I said, okay, this may be something I'll do later on, I'm not really thinking about it. Well, at some point later on in the year, I decided I really wanted to work for a particular company, Procter & Gamble. And I went to their spring info sessions, and what I found out was that Procter & Gamble did not take interns as their first internship unless they came from doing something called the Inroads program. And so I found myself March of sophomore year with a problem. So I go to the Career Resource Center at the Student Union. It was right beside the food court. That's why I knew where it was. I lived in there in my life. So I go in, I sit down with the lady and explain to her that I need some help. I'd like an internship. And she looked at me like, David, I'm so sorry. You are far too late. And so she gave me a couple of pointers for next year, and I left feeling defeated, obviously. But then she calls me back, she says, you won't believe what happened. This is what I'm talking about, where you make your plan and then God comes through and switches it up and it always works out for you good. And she said, I just got a fax from a UF alumna in Kansas City, Missouri. My parents were still in Fort Leonard Wood at the time. Kansas City, Missouri. They are looking for a retail product development engineer in Hallmark cards. I applied for the role. About a week later, I was on my way out to the internship. And I was able to then take that internship and come back and be prepared to apply for an internship with the company I'm going to work for. And I was able to start working with them. But I share that story with you because God gave me grace. And so I can give you some wisdom. Start with the end in mind. If you already know a little bit about what it is you want to do, or you don't know yet, but you know who and what organizations you can go to on campus to learn a little bit more about it, take advantage of it early, because you've got time to change your mind if you want to. You've got time to learn a little bit more about it. But definitely enjoy your experience and make sure that as you're thinking about what comes next, you're giving yourself room for options, because that's what counts. Like I said, I wanted to hear a little bit from the students, if that's all right. So if that is my general story, I can appreciate my experience and would love to share anything with you all. Do you have any questions or anything?
How did you get into the political from the engineering?
That's a fantastic question too. Okay, so this is how it happened. And this is another one of those, you don't know necessarily all the details. I always had a passion to be involved in lead. So in high school, I was, the student government president, different things like that. But when I went to college, honestly, I was intimidated. Like I said, I came from out of state. I was at a school with about 49,000 students, and people knew their folks. I'm from Orlando, I'm from Miami, and we had student government, and we had like hall representatives, and we had a particular freshman centers, these kinds of things. So I did put in for this particular freshman representative role. And I went in, I interviewed, thought I had done pretty well, and found out I didn't get it. And I talked to one of the young ladies who was in the interview. She was a ranking member of our student senate, and she told me, she said, honestly, had you been in the other room, you would have got in. But we only had so many slots because we're trying to make sure that we keep a diverse representation. Translation, there was another Black person ahead of me in this interview, right? So after that, I said, this is a little too political for me, right? And so I didn't think anything else about it, got involved with some other things in the engineering college and whatnot. So fast forward, I come out of school, I start working for Procter & Gamble. The reason that I wanted to go to Procter is because they were a remote from within company. And so they were very, very big on investing in the people. It wasn't we just hired you for this role and you could sit there until you die. And so coming in, the first thing they did, only hired engineers in product supply. And they turned them quickly into managers. So I was able to come in on the technical engineering side, but then move into management. And it was very focused on like systems engineering, Lean Six Sigma, that kind of thing. And so it gave me an opportunity to start seeing systems and really hone my problem solving skills. And so I was out in Still Creek. And I don't know how many of you all are local to Charlotte, but Still Creek is a very fast growing area. And I was driving down to Lancaster, South Carolina every day. So it was about 45 to an hour drive. Well, if any of y'all are familiar with Charlotte, you know that traffic has gotten out of control, right? And so it was taking me an hour every day to get home. And I was like, okay, I'm a young engineer here in Charlotte. I'm already working out in the boonies. I don't want to have to drive another 30 minutes when I get home. And so that's another piece just for after college. Think about when you're choosing where you want to live and what you want to do. Think about your whole life and what you want that to look like, but that's down the road. So anyway, I moved to West Boulevard where I live now, and it's a completely different dynamic. So Still Creek is very much like people that have moved in and built a lot of houses transient. You can, and I'll confess, I was doing this, wave to your neighbors, get your garage door openers going in. Not so in West Boulevard. When I first moved there, about 2 weeks in, I got a flyer in the mail. And it said, hey, come out and meet your neighbors. We're trying to restart our neighborhood association. And so I went, and I was introduced to some of my neighbors that had lived in the community and were born in the homes 50, 60 years. And as an Army grad, that was something that I didn't often get to see. And so I immediately fell in love with my neighborhood. But what I learned quickly was that problems that my neighbors were facing were not things that were completely unsolvable. Right? And it was like, well, if we can do it on that side of town, we can do it on this side of town. So I started to get more and more involved. I joined the board, and I went to the City of Charlotte's Community Planning Academy. It's actually coming back. So if you're in Charlotte, be on the lookout, applications around now. But it was put on by the zoning department, and they went through redlining, they went through urban renewal, they went through housing discrimination, and how our city got to be the way it is right now, which is very segregated. If you look at the way that the city is laid out, almost every socioeconomic factor is separated by these particular lines. And so anyway, that was for me where as a mechanical and also a time systems engineer, the light bulb came on and said, well, if we designed our way in, we got to design our way out. So that's how I got started on the community side, and then just so happened a few years later, my predecessor actually vacated the seat to run for a different office. And that was when my neighbor said, hey, you've been doing a lot of work on this side, we want you to go represent it and take it to the dais. So that's how I got there, and I'm able to use my engineering approach to public policy. Great. So I don't know what I'm looking on time. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?
As you when you studied mechanical engineering, did you learn about any other fields of engineering, or you just learned about mechanical?
So if you look at the programs, you'll find that we call mechanical engineering kind of the foundation of all the other disciplines. So if you get a mechanical engineering degree, you're going to get a little bit of electrical, you're going to get a little bit of structural, a little bit of civil. And what I found was that I really liked the processing side, of being able to put my hands on the piece. But you will get to see that some schools offer an intro to engineering course, and particularly for folks who know they want to do engineering, they don't have it declared a particular discipline. So you'll have an opportunity to get exposed to some of the other areas. I will say, I didn't mention, I ended up dropping my aerospace engineering curriculum. I said, I don't want to work for NASA. I don't want to work for Boeing, and this is giving me too much stress. And so I ended up dropping that side of it, but you will get an opportunity to see some of the others. And it doesn't just have to be in class either. You can go with like the Society of Automotive Engineers, or you can go with IEEE for the electricals and kind of get a feel for the type of work they do. But I'll say this, I'll say this. Engineering and industry is so cross-functional. So just because you got a mechanical degree don't mean that tomorrow you're not going to work on a controls project. So you'll get to put your hand in a lot of things. No problem.
I would say, so are you focused just on the political landscape now, or are you still practicing engineering, or how are they intertwined?
Sure. So I'm actually focused on a lot of things right now. So I still work in industry as an operations manager. I sit on city council, but I've also opened my own MVP firm, and I'll tell you that mechanical, electrical, and plumbing design firm, and I've been doing projects under that for the last year, and that's my exit strategy right there. We'll get into extracurriculars later. It's interesting how it came full circle because we all know we're talking about economic mobility, right? For a lot of people, particularly folks who have been justice involved, entrepreneurship is the pathway to increased income. And we also know now that, and we just did our disparity study here in Charlotte, we know that there is still a void for minority and women business owners in a lot of areas, engineering being one. So for example, our program, we'd like to target about 30% minority involvement in particular industries. I am the only Black female engineer business owner in the region. I get calls from people in Virginia wanting to figure out what to do because the targets are set high, but the actual ability to fill that with minority participation is low. So I say all that to say it came full circle because as I was serving and starting to learn more and more about how do we liberate our people really and truly and what tools can we use from a policy standpoint to do so, minority participation goals in construction, design, and other areas are able to do so. So right now I'm kind of exactly trying to transition over, but I definitely want to stay in the engineering space. All right. I appreciate you. Once again, I'm Victoria Watlington. If you got any questions for me, I've got my cards. I'm happy to leave them. But once again, congratulations, and I look forward to what you all have been doing.
Our first person receiving a scholarship today will be Mr. Tyler Hill. He is receiving our HBCU scholarship. I'm gonna read your bio and then you can come up, okay? So let me tell you about Tyler Hill. So Tyler Hill is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. He is the oldest grandchild on both sides of his family. He has a strong support system through grandparents, family, and friends that have assisted him in growing into the young man he is today. He has flourished through his educational career in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, where he has served as a student athlete and maintained exceptional grades throughout his tenure. He is a member of the National Honor Society and National Technical Honor Society. His final GPA was a 4.0 GPA as a graduate of Philip O'Berry High School, and he plans to attend North Carolina A&T State University in the fall as an honor student with a mechanical engineering major. Tyler is a Christian believer and actively participates as a member of Mount Sinai Baptist Church, where he serves as the president of the youth ministry and has participated in several outreach service projects. Please help me welcome Tyler Hill as our 2022 Education on the Deck HBCU Scholarship recipient.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So as you all know, my name is Tyler. I want to just say thank you all for helping me continue. Thank you for helping me financially continue my academic career in college. I'm very blessed with this opportunity. I'm very excited to be here and study engineering.
Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Devon France. He's a high school senior who views the world in a very systematic yet dynamic way. He has a love for academics, in particular business and finance, where he enjoys researching inefficiencies while finding innovative solutions. His professional interests include real estate sales, marketing, investment, and he currently holds a North Carolina real estate broker's license. Like his mother. He is a huge basketball fan of the collegiate level. Duke is his favorite team. He is a dog lover and has a 7-year-old Beagle mix named Alex. He lives to be outdoors, following in the footsteps of his father, a landscaper, where he enjoys learning about different plants and how to properly care for them. Devon loves his family, looking up to both of his hardworking parents and caring for his younger brother. He is a high school graduate of Ronald Reagan High School in Winston-Salem School District, where his final GPA was a 4.51. Devon plans to attend St. Louis University in Madrid with an international business major to further his educational career. Please help me welcome Mr. Devon France as one of our 2022.
Hey, my name is Devon. First and foremost, thanks for everyone attending today and any support that you have assisted in making this day possible. Like she said, my name is Devon France. I graduated from Reagan High School, obviously in St. Louis University, Madrid, Spain. It's an American university, but I'm essentially acting as like a permanent study abroad student. And going to college is very exciting, right? It's a little scary, especially when it's like another country. But international education is very expensive, especially in regards to like indirect costs and things like that. However, the experiences are said to be priceless. I hope that is the case, right? So I'm thankful that this scholarship helps and assists me, obviously financially, right? It's funny, but it aids in my journey to Spanish fluency. It aids in expansion of like international cultural understanding and broader perspective of the world. So that's the value that I kind of seek in my educational journey, and so I give thanks to the scholarship, Education Over Debt Foundation, and its directors, and anyone else here today for it. So thank
you. Good afternoon, and the next recipient is Adora Bullock. Adora was born in Salisbury, North Carolina, and she has two loving parents, Mr. James and Mrs. Linda Bullock. Adora grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, while spending most of her summers in Wilson, North Carolina with her grandmother. Working hard throughout her high school years, Adora became a member of DECA, aka Asian Culture Club, Hughes Elite Scholars, Upward Bound, and AK Ambassador Club. Adora was recognized as an AB Honor Roll student throughout high school and won the 2020 Social Studies Department Award for AP World History. Adora plans to attend North Carolina State University in the fall with a major in exploratory studies to learn more about the biological science and history programs. Adora believes that North Carolina State University will allow her the ability to develop the necessary skills and knowledge needed to become a success in her career of choice. In her free time, Adora loves to read and to watch Crunchyroll shows. Please help me celebrate Adora Bullock as one of the 2022 Education Over Debt General Scholarship recipient. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Adora Bullock, and I would like to say thank you everybody at the Education Over Debt Foundation for allowing me to win this general scholarship for the 2022 year. I appreciate you guys allowing me to win, as it'll really help me in pursuing my undergraduate degree. I also want to say congratulations to the rest of the 2022 winners. I want to thank my parents for always supporting me and always putting me in the best schools so that I could achieve more. I want to thank my friends for always being there for me. I want to say a special thanks to the Education Over Debt Foundation, of course. And thank you guys so much for allowing me to win this great scholarship. Thank you.